5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, good day, goodbye, hello, wherever you are in the world. That will apply to you well, one of them will anyway. Welcome along, thank you for joining us. It's Friday, it's just past 7, and it is the press conference review, and I'm joined by my buddy here, Wayne. Good evening, Wayne.
Good evening, Chris. I didn't know it was crackerjack time.
It is indeed. Have you got your cabbages ready?
Hey.
And I could crush a grape.
Yeah, crush a grape. I love some of those old sayings every now and again.
God, yes.
Every now and again you hear them, don't you?
Exactly. Apologise for the lateness in starting, ladies and gentlefolk. As you will hear, excuse me, I have got a really, really, really bad cough. Steve gave it to me, so thanks, Steve. So I've been swigging the old cough medicine. Tell you what, that cold pole, it's rubbish. But welcome along. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, click the notification bell, whether you're watching live or on catch up. And if you're listening via your favourite podcast platform, thank you and for listening. And if you're in the chat live, do join in with the review as well afterwards. Shall we have a look at it? It's a bit longer this week, which is nice to see. I see they still haven't fixed the bloody microphone. So, you know, it is. I don't know whether sort of Vladimir Putin is running our press department, but they don't want you to hear the question in case it's something they don't want, so you just hear the answer.
Isn't it bonkers? You've got like a multi-million worldwide brand name football club, state-of-the-art facilities, and they can't get a microphone sorted out. I mean, when you do a gig or anything, you test your levels, don't you? Whether you're doing Dave's Disco on a Friday night, you know.
Oh, yeah, you get one of those, you know, they do them at the shows where they hold it above themselves, the boom mic. Oh, well, look, why are we surprised? Let's have a look. It's about 12-14 minutes long, so if any of you have already seen it, feel free to nip off to the loo and come back, and we'll have a discussion about it afterwards. I've not seen it yet, so this is all new to me. So here we go.
Okay, mate. First off, any fresh injury concerns after the other night?
No. Everybody finished the game in good shape. It's true that Steffi felt a little bit his hamstring on yesterday practice, so we're assessing him. But out of that, everybody was all right after the game.
You say you're assessing Steffi on initial look. Does it look like something that could keep him out of the game at the weekend?
We don't know yet. So it's just a muscular failing, a small one. We're as I said, the medical team is assessing him, and we'll know more tomorrow.
Victor Christensen continues to play. I don't know if we're calling it a mask, a chin strap. It's sort of around the bottom of his jaw. But how's he getting on with that? How's he feeling?
Yeah, you know better how to call it than my English, but yeah, he's okay. He's doing very well on trainings. Obviously, he trained a lot with it before we took the decision, and himself felt that it was time to start to compete. And yeah, in every let's say small-sided situations, games, he has been doing well. So yeah, he's fully available.
And you made 4 changes in the week. I'm not expecting you to give away your team for the weekend, but are those changes that was a case maybe of utilising your squad with games coming thick and fast, or do we think any of those boys might get a continued run in the team?
I think it's always depending on the moment of the team, on the moment of the season. Something that I learned over the last couple of seasons in the championship is that you need to use the squad properly, and to bring too many changes can disrupt a little bit the rhythm. To bring too few can provoke a bit of lack of energy on this kind of 3 games week. So I'm very happy about what all those 4 players bring. Some of them, unfortunately, we knew that Bobby was coming back from an injury. I think he was doing well, but he couldn't play more than 60, 65 minutes. He was really tired after those. I think everybody showed good things from those 4 changes, and then we're going to take a decision about what to do on Saturday. But of course, I'm a big believer on using the squad as long as all of them are training well and deserving the opportunity, of course.
You were understandably frustrated after the Wrexham game with not getting the win. I wonder, a couple of days on, you've had a chance to speak to your players, work with your players, how you're feeling about that performance and that point now?
Still frustrated. Still, I guess that hopefully in 48 hours, if we get 3 points against Swansea, my feeling gonna be much better. But at the moment, I'm frustrated. I think was as honest as I was with you. I was with my team before. That's my way. And I think that they understood, look, no one needs to convince me about possession, no one needs to convince me about, because I'm coming from Barcelona, so I'm a big believer on positional play, and to use the possession for a meaning. I was a bit frustrated, especially in the second half, because I felt that we thought that the game was already under control. And the game is under control when you are leading 4-0. Otherwise, it's not under control, especially here in England. So doesn't matter if you are playing well, doesn't matter if you are controlling the game if you want. For me, possession is a tool to create chances, a tool to attack. And I felt that during the second half, perhaps through the second half, we were losing a little bit this target to keep scoring, to keep attacking. Now, it's work in progress. It's part of the learning as well for me from this group from what we want. And there were very good periods over the first, especially 60 minutes. We counter-press at really high level, something that you can only do when you as a team, you travel together, when you attack together. And it was, I think the first goal was a brilliant combination. We want more of those. We were really good at breaking through, at playing through Wrexham. But of course, all of us, the fans, myself, everybody, the players, everybody's disappointed to at the end not being able to go those 3 points. But football is like this, small margins. We know that if Bobby, instead of hitting the post, he scores, and then perhaps everybody will be so positive about the development over the last weeks, about how the team is progressing. But that's the game, man, and I'm aware about those small edges that makes a big difference in football.
It might be a similar answer to the point you've just made there, actually, but in the last 2 games, you've had a combined 29 shots, but with only 2 of them on target. How important is it to improve that clinical edge when you are creating chances but maybe not making the most of them?
Then my job is to try to find solutions to create even more. I'm very calm about the quality we got in the squad. I'm a big defender, as you know. For me, my players are always the best ones. So if at the moment, unfortunately, in the last games, as you said, you mentioned those numbers, has not been enough to score more, means that I need to find a way to help them to create more. So if instead of 29, we need to create 45. Let's try to work on this. So it's always about improving. Definitely, I'm sure that the efficiency, if you want, will get better, because I think there is quality enough in the squad. But at the same time, again, it's not just about the amount, but about the quality of those chances, about how we get there, about how we do if we don't score, and so on. So that's why we are working.
Sorry to bring up PSR again, but it has come up again today. A report from John Percy in the Telegraph saying it could run for a while, deep into this season. I don't expect you to give details of what's going on, but has there been further conversations from the club with you about that situation since we last asked you?
No, I explained already that when I had my first conversations with the club was quite transparent on it. We keep always constant communication about all the topics, and there is not much more than I can add to it.
from your perspective, obviously your focus is what happens on the pitch. How, if it is going to sort of rumble on and continue deep into the season, how difficult does that make your job if it's, you know, sort of the shadow hanging over you and the team, as opposed to if there is going to be a points deduction and it got confirmed next week, you sort of know what you're working with? How tough does it make it the longer it goes on?
Yeah, I mean, I understand the concern, but at the same time, to be very honest with you, it's something that not in the staff, not in the players, not in our daily work affect us at all. So it has never been a conversation about it. We just focus on trying to be a better team every day, on how we can play better football, on how we can win as many games as we can, and that's where my focus is. I cannot spend energy time on things that I cannot control, and to be honest, I think that the mindset it's been very much about this in the squad as well.
And the club announced today that CEO Susan Whelan was going to be stepping down after 15 years in the role. Just from your perspective, in your brief period at the club, how have you found your time working with her?
Yeah, it's not been much time, but obviously appreciate what she has done for the club and wish him all the best. And yeah, it was just some months, but I had a very nice relation with her.
Moving on then to a lighter note, I've just spoken with Abdul Fatawu, which was a joy, as I'm sure you can understand. You spoke about the joy that he brings to the dressing room. I asked him about, you know, wanting to put a smile on other players' faces. How much does that help when maybe there's a bit of frustration on the pitch, when you're not turning draws into wins, to have characters like him around the dressing room?
Abdo is a fantastic boy, and since I've been here, I've just seen his development from being injured, long injury, probably what was a tough period in his life, and coming back with the energy and the quality that he's bringing to the squad. It's fantastic to see. Said that, there is some others that as well are very positive for the mood in the changing room, that they have this capacity, despite perhaps things doesn't go always our way, that they have this energy and this sense of humor, and they bring this into the team. But yeah, probably he's the one that dances really well.
He said the same. He said there's plenty. He mentioned Steffi Mavadidi and Ricardo Pereira, but he said maybe they're a bit more scared to do it in front of the fans as he is.
I'm not sure if Steffi or Ricardo will be scared of, but we have decent personalities, that's for sure, good personalities in the squad.
Moving on to Saturday, Swansea, another tough challenge. What are you expecting from that game?
Yeah, a team that is doing well. I think they got a solid foundation already from last season in a club that I think usually they have a very clear identity on the way they want to play, that they are usually a team that wants to use the possession to attack, that they are really strong on transitions as well now. Yeah, a team that is difficult to beat because of the way they play, but as well some players that are very experienced at this level and that have started well. So I think definitely it's a very important test for us before the international break, because I'm aware that having a positive result will help us to move on a little bit with a better feeling from the disappointment of the last, especially the last game, I will say. And yeah, it's an important one to go into a good feeling into this break.
Marty, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll go to Charlie from BBC Spinners.
Thank you, Charlie. Hi, Marty. The person who sits in that seat is often the most senior member of staff at Leicester City, available for interview. So I'll ask a couple of questions that you may or may not be able to answer, but I think probably need asking anyway.
Hopefully I can give you a proper answer then.
Yeah, hopefully so. I appreciate your time. The first one is, do you know why now, after 15 years, Susan Whelan has decided to step down?
Unfortunately, I cannot give you details about this because I don't know the details. All that I can say is that yeah, it's a decision that the club has taken together with Susan, and as I said before, just wish her all the best and appreciate what she has done over the last 15 years.
I appreciate that you've only worked with her for a few months of those 15 years, but can you speak to the journey that she has helped to oversee at this football club when you consider the heights that she was a part of?
Well, definitely. I was not part of it, but I think that everybody could see what this club, the up, the downs, but what this club achieved 10 years ago, what this club has achieved over the last as well, yeah, the 4 or 5 years after that. It's been an amazing journey, probably, with up and downs, as I said. But yeah, fortunately was not part of all this journey. All that I can say is from the distance. Yeah, just appreciate what she has done for the club during all those years.
What type of person has she been like to work with?
Yeah, we don't have daily contact because obviously here in the training ground we have our coaching routines, so to say. But every time that we had talks and we sat together, it was she was very nice, and really appreciate the support she gave me from day one.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Charlie. It's Mark from MyTV.
Hi, Marty.
Hi.
Hope you're well. I know you spoke about your frustration before about not being able to close games out, but at the moment, you're sixth in the table. Are you happy with where the club is at the moment and how they're generally performing?
I would like to be in position number 1 with 24 points. That will be my target. Unfortunately, we are not there, meaning that there is some job to be done. Now, I'm aware that all the starts usually are difficult, so not an excuse, just a reality that I came here with the pre-season already started in a moment where I've been describing this as a rebuilding process, and that's the way I feel. What I know is that the team is taking steps forward in the performances. So when I compare our performance against Sheffield Wednesday, for instance, or I compare the performance against Wrexham, it's far from perfect. It's far from the level that we want to achieve still. But for 60 minutes, I think that against Wrexham, the team did really well. So it encourages me to see the development that we have in the training pitch. And now definitely we want to make sure that we get, first of all, another win as soon as possible, because for Leicester it will never be good enough to have 4 draws in a row. Doesn't matter if you count how many games undefeated we have at the moment. The important thing is to win 3 points. So I will say that we are not far from what we want to be in terms of the table, but there's still a lot of progress to be done in the way we want to play, the way we want to develop as a team, and what I want to achieve as a manager.
Does that indicate that you think the players you've got here and what they're capable of, you should be top 2? That's what they should be aiming for. That's what the club should be aiming for as well.
My target is always to win the next football game. My target is always to be a better football team every day. So I'm a big believer on my players. I'm a big believer on, I always say that my players are always the best in the world in my eyes, and I will defend them always and try to get the best of all of them, because that's my job. Now, what I want is to make sure that we have a good preparation for Swansea, then see where we are in the international break, try to improve the things that we need to improve, because it's not easy when you have a quick turnaround as this week to work a lot in the training ground. But we need to be relentless on our efforts to try to improve every day. And then at the end of the season, let's analyze where we are. But I think it was quite clear from day one about what are my views and what are the club targets. We want to be back to the Premier League. That's not a secret. And we want to be back as soon as possible. But we want to be back in a way that is sustainable and that is a strength from us to have a clear identity on how we achieve this, on how we get there, and how we stay there.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Interesting, Wayne. You're on mute, mate.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, very interesting, Chris. That interesting that didn't really need anything saying afterwards.
Just to say, by the way, when we play a video like that, you automatically go on mute.
Okay, mate. That's cool.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, some interesting things there. Looking at that, I mean, some of the questions that were asked were a bit obvious, and we'll get the elephant in the room out of the way first. And not that I'm calling Susan Whelan an elephant at all, but just in case our lawyers are watching. I mean, look, I've been critical of Susan Whelan, and let's be honest with you, whether he knew anything or not, he's not going to sit there in a press conference.
No.
Oh, yeah, there's a big argument. They threw tomatoes at each other and she walked out. He's going to sort of, obviously do what he would, say what he diplomatically is allowed to. Yes, she has to take some blame for what's gone on because she takes the credit for what happened before, and she has seen over some good times. Interestingly, Vichai was who brought her in from King Power. She had no football experience at all, but then football clubs are businesses these days. But again, if you saw, I did a one-off with Steve, who sort of tends to know things that are going on, and basically not spoken to John Rudkin for something like nearly 3 years.
Yeah, you've heard that rumour with a few people, haven't you, that know somebody down at the training ground. So that's unfortunate. I mean, sometimes people can still perform and go about the job in a professional manner and not to get on with work colleagues because they just view it that way. And if they don't really need to be around each other, sometimes that's just the best thing. It don't mean necessarily that that's a dysfunctional thing. But did Rob Tanner say that with COVID, Susan Whelan, that's concentrate on helping the actual King Power business a bit? That's what I'm sure Rob said that.
I haven't seen that, but again, it would make sense.
It was a while ago when you had him on, Chris, when we were talking about the PSR.
Right.
He said, I'm sure I remember him saying something like, I know she's had to spend quite a bit of time on the thing, and we don't really know what happens at a board level anyway. Plus Marty coming in, you know, if you go in a new workplace, everybody goes, "Oh, you're all right," and then the rumours start, don't they? Oh, he's a bit of a knob. She's a right. So you get all that in a workplace, don't you? Anyway,
you do. But apparently, if they're walking down the corridor and they see each other, one of them turns around and walks the other way.
Hey.
It's not, it's not conducive. But then, John Rudkin is football side. She's the business side. Apparently, obviously there's been the failure of her to sustain a sponsor for us. We still haven't got a sponsor on the shirt 9 games in, which, let's be honest with you, we all wanted at one point, but it does look a bit worrying. We're still a big club. It's still the championship, but I just wonder, because she signed us up to, or allegedly signed us up for this K-bet, which it then came around that we couldn't because of betting rules and what have you. She's obviously gone to get us the best deal she can, and she felt that was it. But I think there's a bit of frustration there. But of course, Top's taken over. But you see, Top has nothing to do with King Power now, does he?
No,
it has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? He's not running it like he was before.
Yeah, but did he say he wanted to take more of a role in it as things progress? But it's like Susan Wheeler with the shirt sponsorship. You kind of think, well, was that the only offer on the table to sponsor Leicester City?
Exactly. I mean, we might want 10 million. Surely, if somebody comes along now and says, we'll give you 2 million for the rest of the season, you take it, don't you?
Well, could we have Bentley's roofs back on the shirt?
Well, I did say the other day that, Preston are sponsored by Mr. Spudman or something. Let's have Leicester Till I Die on there, shall we?
Yes, exactly right.
Start a GoFundMe page.
Yeah.
He's gone, which disappointed about. Top is taking over as the acting CEO. If he's doing that, then I hope is the fact that he's based over here more, because the way he's in and out the country as he was isn't conducive, I don't think, for a CEO. Yes, an owner, but not a CEO. But of course, we're now looking at sort of John Rudkin City, aren't we?
Well, there's a lot of stuff flying around online with people saying, "Oh, is this a John Rudkin power play? Does that mean he's sort of influenced Top to sort of get Susan Whelan out?" And different sort of rumours. But well, time will tell, Chris. We'll soon see what happens. She did come across as a decent person, to be honest. I did.
She did. And look, I've criticised, I think, sending off the account late. It was schoolboy error, but yeah, exactly, but yeah, she's always had the best of Leicester at her heart, and she did like a good, a social appearance or two, didn't she? So now if John Rudkin has got his eye on the CEO job, which is probably more powerful than the football director, of course, the good news is that means he has nothing to do with the football inside.
Yeah, well, his growth from how he started off and his love and passion for doing it. I mean, Leicester City is a different animal, especially with the if the stadium plans do finally get to go ahead, then we are sort of moving into a more corporate, sort of whole-rounded running a business that can generate money, that can get us being able to buy players, help us with PSR.
Well, time's running out on that, isn't it? There was said, I don't know if you saw the article, but we've only got a couple of years left before planning permission runs out.
Did I see a headline saying, definite plans okay to something for Leicester City? Was it?
Well, it's the money, isn't it? You expand from a position of strength, not from a position of weakness, and we are definitely in a position of weakness at the moment. We can't fill.
Like something a Chinese war general would say back in the day, Chris. That
what you're trying to say, but no, but it's true, and at the moment we can't fill 32,000 seater stadium. Let alone a 40,000 seat stadium.
It's like Michael said, Chris. Why can't we have?
Well, I'll tell you why. That's a very good question, actually. Why can't we have? Oh, sorry. We can't have walkers on because that's linked to obesity, isn't it? So we can't have that. And with and I said about the K-Bet being, gambling when we're sponsored by Sky Bet, but obviously Sky Bet's a legitimate company, operate out of the UK and Ireland, and therefore are subject to our rules. Where something K-Bet was, let's face it, from a company that's only just started up 2 weeks ago. Money laundering, allegedly, is the word that's been used. The problem with King Power is that Top owns the club now, not King Power. Top's family has 100% of the shares, which I think means we've got less money to play with. The problem if you go along to King Power now and go because of course they already sponsored the training wear and what have you, it's all over there in the women's team. If we go and say normally it's 20 million, but hang on, we'll give you 5 million till the end of the season. Then next season they're going to come along and say, we want 5 million. And you've got to think of PSR, and it gets very complicated. But I think that is
higher, aren't they, Chris? The stakes are so. It's like we all say, "Oh, I'll have a bet on this and bet on that." But when it comes to laying down some serious money, you're talking about serious money here, aren't you?
Oh, you are. I mean, it's just a bit of a silly comparison, but I was in the butcher's earlier, and the guy said to me, he said, that steak on the, up at the top there, do you want to have a bet on sort of how much it weighs? And I went, no, I don't. And he went, why not? And I said, well, the steaks are too high.
Hey, I love it, Chris. You sucked me right in there, didn't you?
Your face.
You went seamlessly into that joke, Chris, and you got me hook, line, and sinker.
Well, let's move on to the press conference, shall we? No major injuries. Although Steffi has pulled a hamstring. It was in training, apparently. He did said on that there'll know more tomorrow, but I think that was either yesterday or the day before when he did the press conference. But nothing's come out whether he will be in or not. Now, if you saw the show, which I know you did because you told me, the show earlier with Kate, she's actually put Monga in there because she said Steffi offered nothing when he came on.
No, he didn't. And to be honest, when they said Steffi might have pulled his hamstring a bit, I'm thinking, well, it must be in training because it wasn't during the match.
Hey, bum bum. It seems to be that Steffi doesn't really have an impact when he comes on as a sub, does he? And maybe this, and we have to remember, only just turned 16, Monga, and I know we've been saying that for a long time, but whether this 60-20 role with Mavadidi starting and then Monga coming on is the way forward. But let's be honest with you, can you name how many times, Okazaki played 90 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, he was so crucial though, wasn't he?
He was for those 60, yeah. But what I'm saying is, he to me, Mavididi wears the play. You don't want somebody coming on that's going to be marked by 2 or 3 people. And he struggles when that happens, where Monga can generally turn around, tap the ball through somebody's legs and get away. So you really want, in my opinion, Mavididi to start, wear them down, and then bring Monga on at the end. But we'll see, because obviously there might be that injury. Christensen, he was training okay. He's still obviously got that mask on. Excuse me, it's not a mask, is it? It's more like a chin support.
Yeah, it's not a full Michael Crawford job, is it?
No, it's not. But again, Kate said she thought when after he came on that he was a little bit afraid to go up for heading the ball.
Yeah, it is understandable, Chris. I mean, I've got a metal plate on this side of my face where,
really? Wow.
Yeah, I was playing football on Saturday afternoon, and I went up for a head, and somebody came from the side and just nutted my face. Actually,
ouch!
It felt like a cricket bat around your head, and then I got up, and I could see something here, and people looking at me like I was a freak and said, "I think you need to go to the hospital." So you had to go down. He did that surgery, but although I started playing again, once I got, because obviously if you love football, you want, people get injured on the horse to get back out.
Yeah.
It did take me a while to build up the confidence, start heading the ball. Probably 3 or 4 months before I started to really start having to go to head the ball, just because the association in your mind. So I think it's bound to be there.
It's understandable, isn't it? Although again, this was one of the positions we disagreed on. I like Thomas, but I think Christensen just gives us a little bit more going forward.
I think he's more dynamic than Thomas. But the only thing with that is I do view Christensen sometimes as a headless chicken, as in he will all of a sudden run up the wing, but it will kind of be just when he has the passion to do it, and other teammates are not particularly up the field with him. And I do think what I think Marty likes about Thomas is he is a good squad player, he's a good system player, and he does understand Marty's system, as in like sometimes he'll be in an inside right position and somebody from midfield will cover him. And I do think Marty likes him for his ability to...
I think he's come out and said he's adaptable, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see on that one.
Just one point on Steffi, Chris. I do think with Steffi, we've got to get the ball to like the wingers, because all the teams are doubling up, aren't they, on Steffi and Abdul. So I think when we get the ball to them, we've got to get the ball as soon as the ball comes loose and we have the ability to get the ball out to them. We've got to play it as early as possible, and then as soon as they get the ball, they've got to just go hell for leather and try and beat the man, because then they're only up against one man. If the delay and double back, then 2 men get on them. So I just think Marty wants them to play faster.
And to go past the player rather than keep cutting inside. Because and learn to pass the ball, I think, because Fatawu, he likes to come in on his left foot and curl it into the box, to the top corner. 2 times out of 10, it's spectacular. 1 time out of 10, it goes in the goal. 8 times out of 10, the guy in Rosette catches it. So they need to, but again, hopefully Marty will train that out of them. There's 4 changes for Wrexham. And as Marty said, it depends on the team, and he needs to use the squad properly. And I know there's a lot of disagreement over the performance at the weekend. Shall we just leave it at that? But he said he's got to use his squad properly. And I think if you see, excuse me, unless we perform really badly, which I don't think we did, to be honest with you, but we'll leave it there, as I say. But if we perform really badly on a Saturday and then the next game is the following Saturday, you would see changes. But I think if you get a draw and play as well as we did in the first half and not too bad in the second, I think you don't make any changes for the following Saturday. But when it's Saturday, Tuesday, or Friday, Tuesday, as it was for us, that's when you're going to see the changes, isn't it?
It is, and maybe we'll start with Ricky P. And I think what it was on Saturday, we were disappointed with what could have been. That's
Yes.
the thing. That's what Marty said. You know, we were so close. It's like when they scored their equaliser, you know, you got Vestergaard, but okay, Vestergaard made an absolutely awful mistake, not only in what he decided to do, how he decided to play it, but in his execution of what to do when he decided what to do. The fact that player delivered that ball right into the path of that, and that's just the difference. So if we, you know, like Marty said, if we didn't hit the post, then we probably would have won 2-1. So it's just those decisions, like you said, that the wingers are not making. You know, they're not passing the ball, or they're not having a shot, or they're not going early to try and attack the full. I think once we get those right, you know, we will start getting some victories.
Yes, I think we will. And he said, like, he is still frustrated, even now. And yes, I get that. And I think that was the words that I was using were frustrated, disappointed. But we weren't as awful as everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people in the chat were saying. And on social media. I thought it was a fairly decent performance all round, and you're playing against a team that's been together 5-6 seasons with a few alternative additions, and the manager has been there for the same length of time. And, you know, we are going to struggle against those teams, however bad you think they are. But he said he's a big believer in positional play.
Yeah, well, from Barcelona, it's possession, positional play.
Yeah,
chance creation, and we're doing everything right. But he did say possession is only there as a tool to create chances and attack.
Yes,
and that's the only element that really Marty's missing. And I think losing Ramsey was absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
You know, so really, when you think Marty's done everything right, really with everything he's got. He's picking good size, and maybe it's the first week that his substitution didn't work and he pushed James too far forward. It didn't work. But, you know, you take away the Faz blunder, and you take away the Vestergaard blunder, and you take away Ramsey getting sent off after 20 minutes. We could be near the top, Chris. So I think that's where you were coming from, weren't it? We are so close to making it work.
And I just think, you know, when on Monday when I did the review show, it's been 130 days since we finished last season.
Yeah.
And look where we were last season. You know, we didn't win in 17 games. Now, if we're not winning in 17 games, and we're saying, "Oh, we're absolutely rubbish," when we draw in 4, I don't get that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That was rubbish. This isn't rubbish. That's what was getting me frustrated.
Yeah.
As indeed was the criticism. Look, everybody knows Wout Faes last year I was criticising like mad. But I also gave him man of the match one week.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is not my favourite player, but I gave him man of the match a couple of games ago. Not that he was the best necessarily player, but on the improvement from his normal level. And I know it's a low bar that he's coming from. Excuse me. But this, Daka was shit again. He wasn't actually, you know. Bobby Dick Overreed was awful. Actually, he wasn't.
No, he played really well.
In that role, he played that role better than Jordan Ayew did, in my belief.
Yeah, and that's what. So even before this match, he said that he singled out Thomas as being one of the standout players so far. But he also said, "I've had really good chats with Bobby Dick Overreed. He's coming back. He's had an injury, but you don't get someone like Bobby Dick Overreed playing year on year on year on year for Fulham in the Premier League, and him not being a good technical player and not being an intelligent football player." He says, and I really like Bobby. I really think he's going to be really important. What happens? He plays his first game. People are going, "Who? Why is he playing him?" And he had a brilliant game.
He did. No, he did indeed. And you'll see what me and Kate think in a bit. But yeah, fair play. I mean, I think his winger days are behind him. I don't think we're going to see him bombing down the wing at all. But in that number 10 role, yeah, I think he does offer more than Jordan Ayew. And we've got him for an extra year as well. He was also asked, how important is it to improve shots on target? I mean, a stupid bloody question. Let's be honest with you. Obviously, we're not bothered about that at all. And what is he going to do to improve it? You know, well, what are you going to say?
Yeah, you got it. Like it, yeah, he said. I mean, some of the questions are, like Basil Fawlty said on Fawlty Towers, what's the question on? It's bleeding obvious.
Yes.
That's what it is. But they still have to ask it. And, you know, two shots on target out of 20 odd attempts. I mean, it is poor.
It is. Yeah.
And that's something that Marty, you know, he can't kick the ball in front of the goal, can he? That's down to the players on the pitch. Yeah. So you can just try your best. I do think with Marty, it's like even Faz and Vestergaard. I don't think they would feature Vestergaard. Definitely not in the Premier League. No, he just can't cut it. But I think Marty's just having to play the players that he's got and get the best out of them.
80% of that team is what Ruud had last season. And 80% and the 20% that we haven't got, we've sold, are the best 20%. Obviously, that, you know, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to sell them. But you've got to remember again, last season, how often did we get over the halfway line? You know, last season, and I said this jokingly many times, that, you know, I thought football was only played in one half of the pitch. You know what I mean?
You also say you had a nosebleed or something.
Exactly. You go to the halfway line, you get a nosebleed. So the fact that we're even getting up there is an improvement. And look, we haven't got a 20-goal-a-season striker. We can't afford a 20-goal-a-season striker. Yeah, that's why we've got freebies coming in. Excuse me. But the fact that we're getting up there is, so there's baby steps. We've got to accept that, you know.
I think we're crazy with chances, but I did look at the top scorers for the championship and I think, okay, so where are we? Let's go down. And you've got 25 players that go from Wright at Coventry, 7 goals, McBurney, 6 goals and 3 assists. And you go down and down and down and down. Now, the 25 players, we haven't got one player who's got 3 goals. So that's the problem. And I think even with Wrexham scoring the goal, and that's why Tom was really upset about everything, and Brad, because if we'd have created more chances, we could have been 2-0 up and been in a comfortable position. So that's the case that Marty's got to unpick, isn't it?
It is. No, it is definitely. But 10 goals in 8 to what we've managed, you know. I think it was 17 in 32 games we managed under Ruud. So again, you have to look at things and go, yes, we'd love a striker in there that scores 20 goals. Well, who's going to pay for it?
Yeah.
You want more points to be deducted because we've gone over PSR again? We have to accept that we've not got that. So, yes, we've only got 10 in 8. But again, I'll go take you back. 140 days ago, we would have killed to have had 10 goals in 8 games.
Well, when we scored a goal, we were doing the conga, weren't we, Chris, last season?
Yes, yeah. I mean, so we have to... And that's the thing that was getting me. Yes, frustrated. Rubbish, no. But just remember where we were. Interestingly, he was asked about PSR. And he's come out and said, and this, I don't think that any other manager has said this, Enzo hasn't, certainly Ruud didn't, or I believe Steve Cooper. The club have been totally transparent with him. So he knows where they stand. You know, John Percy is saying this could run a while. You know, all these cutbacks that we made in the summer, players we sold, that doesn't affect the PSR that has been investigated at the moment. That will be in next year. So we've done all this in advance. So we may still sort of end up with a points deduction. But it's out of his control, isn't it? That's what he's saying.
Yeah, and even the journalist apologised for asking the question, didn't they?
He did, yeah.
like he said, it's out of his control. We just have to concentrate on things. And we don't really, said, to be honest, we don't really talk about it. You know, it's just something we don't really entertain because, you know, it's like Mark Twain, isn't it? Mark Twain, the author, says, I've many worries in my life, some of which came true. There's no point in worrying about things that might happen in the future.
This is what I always say with health as well. You know, if you're given some bad news, my sister-in-law was diagnosed with cancer earlier on in the year. Her attitude is, until they actually tell me that's it, we can't do anything, you live in hope and you carry on. And until, you know, and I think that's the same in a lot of things, you know, if you come across a little, you know, a bump in the road, don't judge it until you've got over and seen what's on the other side.
Yeah, and don't we all absolutely respect people who, when they're actually facing it, approach it with that attitude. We have massive respect. Yeah.
I keep saying it's become a bit of a joke because when I see my sister-in-law now, I go, "Oh, Sarah, how are you doing?" And I'm thinking, I shouldn't ask that. And she always comes back with, "Living the dream, Chris, living the dream." And I'm like, I'm sorry, but it automatically, it's what I say to everybody. How you doing? You know, and you just without, and she's fine with it. She's absolutely fine. He was asked about Susan Whelan.
Yeah.
And again, he's probably had sort of 2 meetings with her and what have you, so he couldn't really discuss that. Fatawu he discussed. Fantastic boy, very positive. He's joy to have in the training room, in the changing room. Brings fun to the changing room. We'll leave it on that, I think. And it's good to have personalities like that in the squad, and it is, isn't it?
Oh yeah, when you're playing a football team, you have somebody who's laughing a joker. And even sometimes if you lose in half time and you go in the changing room, you feel a bit dejected because you might have missed a chance or you feel you're not playing. You just get somebody laughing, joking. It does lift the spirit of the lads.
Oh, definitely does. Definitely. I mean, Paul Gascoigne must have been absolutely brilliant to have in the changing rooms.
Yeah, he must have been, mate. It's funny how we called him a boy, isn't it?
Yes.
But I mean, the interview for BBC, that was an excellent interview, actually. It was quite a long one. And he just he fizzes joy, don't he? And one other thing he said, I'm so grateful to just be playing football again. But then the fact that I can score score a goal and it means so much to the team. He loves playing football.
Well, let's hope we don't coach that out of him.
It
can happen, can't it? You know.
Yeah, it can. I just think, get them wingers, let them go for it.
Yeah. Swansea, good on transitions. They've started well. I mean, that was pretty much a bit of a standard answer. And I have to say, I respect Marty because he doesn't always give just standard answers. You know, he does give it. He tells you what he can, and I love that thing about I don't know what to call. I'm Spanish. I don't know what you call those things. You know, but you know, you always felt with Brendan. You know what I'm going to say, that he was bullshitting you. But with this guy, you think like he will say, "Well, I can't really say anything about that because I don't know." You know, he's kind of. If he does know and he doesn't want to say, he'll pretend he doesn't, and rather than sort of giving what people are like, Wayne, where they give political answers and they don't actually.
Plus as well that it's like Marty is player centric, and Brendan Rodgers was himself egocentric.
Yes.
Because it's okay, people saying, "Oh, I'm here for the players, I'm here for the team. It's not about me." It definitely was about Brendan Rodgers. Whereas Marty, he is humble, believes in really good work ethic. He believes in helping the players. That's the other thing as well. He's like, would he have treated Soyuncu the way that Soyuncu was treated? I don't think so.
No. And look at what he did. Sorry, look at what he did. He had the same problem with Winks and Faze. And he did not send them off to train with the under-21s. He said, "You're not playing until your head's right."
Yeah.
He would have dealt better with Tielemans as well, I honestly think.
Yeah, he would, yeah.
And as soon as the window shut, and he said, "Right, well, you're not going to go anywhere for 6 months. Are you going to book up and come in and play, or are you going to be playing with the under-21s?" He didn't just sort of ban them to there. So, no, I think his man management, compared to the likes of Seal and all those, I think it's vastly improved.
It's excellent. Question, Chris. Do you think if Marty was plonked in the place that the team were where we thought, shit, we could go down, he would have kept us up? I really think he would, because he would have engaged the players and got them to, come on, we can do this. Whereas Rodgers was, oh, sod you then.
I think, in fairness, we only just went down. I think, under Dean Smith.
Yeah.
So if he'd come in when Dean Smith, yes, I think he probably would have kept us up, because it was only, I think it was a point we went down by or something, and we'd have stayed up if Bournemouth had done the job against Everton, So the question is, if Marty had come in instead of Rude, and I'll throw this one back at you, if Marty had come in instead of Rude, would Marty have kept us up? You love these questions.
Yeah, I think he would, purely because, as you say, Chris, it's the difference in those. So what's the role of a manager? It is to help people to perform to the best of the potential. It's to engage the players so they feel part of the team, and it's also to sometimes to tell people off. Rarely, but in general, sort of guide
and improve players.
Yeah, and improve them. And Marty does all those things.
Yeah.
Things. And also, as you said, he doesn't bullshit.
No. And I think players respond to that.
Yeah.
And look, we know players have got too much player power. And that's the other reason I'm really glad Vardy's not here anymore, because look, we love him to bits and everything, but I think he did have too much power. He had Top's ear. If he'd gone, oh, well, Top, Marty's left me out, he'd have been in the team the next week. You know what I mean? And well, look, we love him to bits. Obviously, we do. He said he was frustrated at not closing games out. No shit, Sherlock. He said, and again, this was something I said to Kate. Are you happy with where we are at the moment? So a yes or no, Wayne. I'm going to ask you, are you happy with where we are? I don't mean like you're there and I'm sat here in my room and what I mean. Are you happy with where Leicester are? Yeah. Just a yes or a no. I don't want one of your Keir Starmer.
On this spinning round, that's spinning around the sun, that's spinning around, in all the known universe. So just clarifying that. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
One word, yes.
Bloody hell, everybody. We are 53 minutes into the chat, and we've had a one-word answer off Wayne. Yes! What you don't know, if you're new to the channel, is that Wayne does go to the Keir Starmer School of How to Answer Questions.
Really insulting these days, Chris, actually.
Fair enough. And I could have said Liz Truss. I mean, it could have been worse.
Oh, that's low. That is low.
And this, but I am as well, because I honestly thought we could do a Luton. See, Michael's put no there. I get that we'd all look. Marty says, what would make him happy? Oh, to be number one with 24 points. And I would say to Michael, you'll probably be a lot happier if we're number one with 24 points. Who wouldn't? But look where we came from. Go back, Michael, and watch the review show from Monday night. And that first 3 minutes when I did my soapbox moment, and I was listing off first team to not score in 7 games, first team to go 17 games without winning the game in top flight history, not just Premier League, in top flight history. With all of those, I'm very happy to be where we are, because we could be doing a Luton. And he did mention, look, we're in a rebuilding thing here. And again, people have come down and expect us to be, Leicester, Barcelona, AFC or whatever. We're not. We're rebuilding, a team that was shit and is still forming the 89% of the team now. You've got to rebuild it, rebuild confidence. Ricardo said, Kate was saying, Ricardo said in his interview, the players are still scarred by that last season.
Yeah, and also with it, like we're playing Swansea, the same manager since last season. Wrexham, same manager. Lampard did really well. I thought it was so unlucky not. I thought they were going to get promoted through the playoffs. They played brilliant football, really, and were robbed. And he's just carried on from last season. So Marty hasn't had that confidence. Not only that, he started later than everybody, didn't he?
Well, he said he's had no pre-season.
Yeah.
And, I will keep throwing this back at people that he hasn't. And yes, you're up at, like I said, with Wrexham, 4 or 5 seasons they've had the same manager. He knows the players. He knows what they can do. He knows what, mistakes they've got in them. Even Andy King hasn't really been with us that long to know all of that. He'll know some of it, but not totally. And, the players and the manager both been there 4 to 5 years. When we played Preston, I said that you can tell that that's a team that's been together for 3 or 4 years, and that was a difference. But he did say he's encouraged by development. Excuse me. And he said we're not far from where we want to be. And I think if you look at the Wrexham game, I think he's right, because that first half, again, for me, best 45 minutes of football we've played, not only this season, but I'm going to take last season as well, because last season was so bloody awful. We were still dominant in the second half, because I've seen the stats and what have you, but, a team responds when they're 1-0 down, as Wrexham did, and they knew what to do, and Marty's still trying things, and he got it wrong at the weekend. I think if he'd kept James back, I don't think they would have scored, but... So I think, it's just that, like you say, it's just the final third that he needs to really sort out, if I'm honest with you, because I think, the defence is still making rickets. There's still mistakes in there, as we saw. Midfield, I think with James and Winks, if they're not our main number, 2 choices for defensive midfielders going forward, I don't know what, hell will freeze over, I think, before, they bring Sumari or Skip back in. And so it's really only the attacking third that he has to really put a bit of effort in.
Yeah, definitely, Chris. And it is close but no cigar. I think that was the thing that affected some fans, the fact that how can we be so brilliant in the first half and then let it slip? But it's just a ridiculous, costly error. Like I said, Ramsey getting sent off, what can you do about that? Playing 70-odd minutes with 10 men.
Yeah.
And what can you do with Faz reversing 20 yards into his own box and not engaging the player and then falling on his arse and letting him walk through? What can you do about that? So we are very, very close to winning. And I do think if Ramsey had been sent off, Faz investigate errors and even like Bobby De Coover hitting the post, we are very, very close to having 6 more points.
Yes.
And that would put us on 9. We'd be top of the table.
Yeah,
basically.
would. Yeah.
So we are so very close. And I think Marty's trying his best to get there.
Yeah.
He's sorting out the Monga. So how good is Monga? Can he play every week? Will Steffi gave Steffi a few games to give him this session to see what he can do, and I do think I'd love Maverick to flourish, but I just think he will always have the confidence thing, and he can't beat his man, and he's 27 years old. So I think we've got a lot of players at a championship quality, but as we get promoted, so even if we don't go up this season, it might be best for us, like Leeds, because we need to develop the squad so it's half Premier ready, don't we?
Yes, yeah. No, I agree, and I said much the same at the start. To me, it's not the end of the world if we don't go up this season. Last question that he was asked: should we be top 2? and he said, my target is just to win the next game.
Yeah. You've got it's like anything with Claudio, isn't it? One game at a time.
Yes.
One game at a time.
Wasn't that a song? One game at a time, sweet Jesus. Oh no, it was one day at a time. Sorry.
Yeah. Which is pretty much the same sentiment, Chris.
It is basically. It is. Right, I want to show you something.
Oh, please say it's the winning lottery numbers for this weekend.
Unfortunately not. For those of us that did the prediction show the other night, and there's going to be changes to the prediction league after the international break, just to let you know. Swansea Leicester. Hi Prashant, how you doing? Swansea, 40% chance or 40% probability of winning the game. We're only 32. But look, we haven't lost in the last 5 games, but we have lost in the last 4 at home. We scored with, again, goals scored, goals conceded, pretty much the same. Your XG is pretty much the same. Clean sheets, there or thereabouts. League point position 8th and 6th. The team rating of Football Pro 6.97 compared to 6.91. There's not really a piece of toilet paper between us. This is going to end 0-0, isn't it?
Oh, it could well, Chris. Every week I keep thinking, it might just click this game. We're not quite clicking, but I do think it will click. And as I said on Tuesday, will it click tonight? Swansea are a good side. They're really well established. They hit on the break really well, and they are very organised. And he's got them playing really well. And the way they are, because they can give anybody a lot of teams in this division. Most of these teams, like we found out about Preston, Sheff Wednesday, they can give you a good game if you're not on it. If you're not got the right attitude, like Wrexham, you can let teams get back in and they can punish you.
Yeah, indeed you can. You can, Prashant. Give you a thumbs up. You can do that.
He's got 4 goals this season, Chris, as well. They're top. He's got 4 goals. So
yeah. I know. A little bit worried. What have you predicted, by the way?
I think it's a 2-1. I predicted. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
2 Swansea.
Yeah. No, to us.
To us.
Tom and what's Brad's girlfriend's name?
Jess. Jess has predicted a loss. Yeah.
2-1.
Yeah. I was tempted to go for a draw, but I thought I'd get absolutely my balls chewed off if I predicted a draw again.
What have you got, Chris?
I've gone for a 2-1 to Leicester. Or did I go 3-1? Hang on a second.
3-1 I've gone, 3-1.
You've gone 3-1, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I've gone 2-1 to Leicester. On that. And finally, before good night from me and good night from him, this was Kate's team that she picked earlier. And if you want to know the reasons why, go back and watch that. She's dropped Bout Phase and she's brought a Coley back, interestingly. Vieira starts. Yes. Well done, that woman. Thomas starts. She's probably right, but this is who she wants to see. And I can't believe I'm about to say this. Dakova Reed, yes, he's got to be in there after the performance. Although, you've got the question now is, and it's a good position to be in, Dakova Reed's ready. Ramsey is back from his ban, so we'll be chomping at the bit. And, of course, you've got Louis Page in there as well.
Yeah, I think Dakova Reed has to play. And I do think he will link Monga, Fatawu and Carranza better than Ayew will.
Yes.
I think he'll have the intelligence to not drop too deep. Because if you've got Winks and James in there, he shouldn't really need to drop that deep.
Yes.
I think Pereira, football intelligence. And I can see why Coley, because I think Coley would protect Vestergaard better than Faz, maybe. He goes on walkabouts. And interesting what you guys were saying about Solarchik as well. and his performances so far. So yeah, it was interesting. I think that's our best team, Chris, to be honest. And he's got to try Carranza. He's got to try him again, hasn't he?
He has. This was last week. Kate was away, and Tom stood in. And he was said about the goalkeeper. With Danny Ward, when he finally got his place, he hadn't played a Premier League game since he joined us, apart from one at the end of the season. He has Michael, and that's going to be the worry with some of these players if they don't get a game when they come in, because we're not in the Fizzy Pop Cup anymore. But there we go.
One thing I will say, Chris, that's really encouraging with Marty is how many times last season did somebody have a really good game like Koulibaly and then he was dropped? Whereas Marty, he tends to, if somebody has a good game, it's like the All-Star manager. Like, well, if you played really well, you get a start in the team the next week, and it's brilliantly simple, but it's great.
Yeah, no, totally 100%. Nobody, even you could argue Vardy, should automatically come back into that team if the player that's replaced them is doing all right. No, agree with you 100%. Wayne, has anybody ever told Marty it's rude to point?
No, I did see that graphic and thinking, you could do a few things with that graphic, couldn't
you? Yes, indeed. Next week I might actually have something hanging off his finger.
You tell it's autumn time because he's got his started to put his layers on, isn't he?
He is. Wayne, thanks very much, sir. A pleasure as always. Are you here for the watch along tomorrow?
Yes, mate, and I really hope you manage to feel a bit better as well, because this time of year it's horrible, isn't it?
I was supposed to see my granddaughter. Like I say, she's only 6 months old. I was supposed to see her on Wednesday, and I had this cough and runny nose, and I just didn't want to give it to her. You know what I mean? At that age, they're still building up their immunity. So, hopefully I feel a bit better, and hopefully we don't get a draw.
No, hopefully we can have another good old rustle and bustle in that post match.
Adrian, that was my Rocky impersonation. On that note, thanks everybody who's in the chat. Like, subscribe and share. Also, if you're watching on Catch Up, do the same. Thank you, Prashant. And if you've been listening via your favourite podcast platform, thank you for lending this your ears. Everybody, come back at 9 o'clock. Brad is there, so you haven't got me for the third time today, which is probably a good thing for you. Brad is here with Luke, a Swansea City fan from Swanscast. So check that out. A bit later than we normally do it. Normally on a Thursday, but obviously it's fitting people in. Have a good night. I will see you tomorrow post-match, Wayne.
Come on, Foxes.
Exactly. That's the attitude we want. See you later, everybody.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.